Hey everyone, it's James at geometricharts.com. It is 5:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. First of all, the video is not investment advice. Second of all, basically where I left off on Friday was saying that Bitcoin was weakening, and I showed that and the momentum and everything. So, yes, the volume is higher than what it used to be, but we're also at a much lower price point, and depending on whether we hold this 3,200 bottom or not, we could be at a significantly lower price point than where we're currently at right now in Bitcoin. So we did break through the small little consolidation area that Bitcoin was holding fairly well, just cascaded right through that. It looks like Bitcoin's trying to find just a little bit of a platform, I guess I could say, for lack of better words, before it continues downward. I do not think Bitcoin is going to hold this zone, but the trip down is not going to be as fast as the trip up. Bitcoin definitely goes more horizontal in nature during its dive downward. So I do think over probably maybe, I don't know how many days it's going to take, but I do think there's going to be a retest of the 3,200 bottom. The question is, does that bottom hold? If it does hold, I think it's going to basically project Bitcoin sideways. It's almost very similar to what we had around 6,000, where it's just going to chop and oscillate around. There's going to be a lot of volatility over that time, and then eventually it's going to progress downward. I do think the longer term picture for Bitcoin is downward. There'll still be tons of opportunities to make money playing both sides, but I do think the overall trend is down, and there's clearly seller domination. When you look at just this small snippet of the chart, you can clearly see that yes, we were making higher highs, and then it quickly turned into lower highs with lower lows, and we went past a 50% retracement, which typically is not a good sign, and it just continued to progress lower. So now we are setting ourselves up to retest the bottom. If the 3,200 bottom does not hold, then we could easily cascade lower into the mid 2,000 range, and that's where I think the next stronghold would be for Bitcoin, with most likely an area to where we're going to find some buyers. There's going to be some chopping around, very similar to what we're experiencing here before heading lower. So that's pretty much it. I'm just expecting a retest. Now it's time to see what happens, if it holds up or not. At the end of the day, the market is very, very weak, and I cannot reiterate that enough. That's why I talk about it the way I do. And, you know, it aggravates some people, but it's it's unfortunately the truth of this market. So I know a lot of people are feeling bullish. A lot of people definitely were, especially during this recent spike. Even with the pullback, everyone's like, it's just a pullback, it's just a pullback. Well, clearly it's something else. Again, the market is plagued with pump and dumps. The purpose of the video is not so I can build myself a big ego and be like, hey, I was right, you know, blah, blah, blah. The purpose is just to help people see through what I believe is the blurred vision due to the massive get rich quick like sentiment out there. And that's what this market has been viewed as. And clearly you can make some great money trading this market, don't get me wrong, but clearly that pipe dream that was sold from social media to mainstream media was one of the biggest lies ever disseminated across the board. It doesn't mean that cryptocurrency, this is the end of the market, it's going to zero, and everyone's going to lose all their money. It doesn't mean that. But this was the biggest, basically penny stock marketing that I've ever seen on such a large scale. And I've talked about it in my prior videos. I think that's the only reason that I kind of had this vision of this market on what it's going to do and anticipating the future the way that I have, even in my prior videos, is because I've been exposed to that market. I know people that were in the industry, and they would tell me how things were done, and this was everything they do in a penny stock to a T, with the biggest dissemination I've ever seen in my entire life. So anyways, at the end of the day, the pump and dump is not going to go away. We had Jamie Dimon talking about how gold is great, crypto is high risk. It's basically garbage, just summarizing his words like real quick, probably putting a little bit of words in his mouth. But at the end of the day, he was glorifying gold over cryptocurrency. And I think the reason why he does it is because he knows, I'm pretty sure that Chase is more than likely, or JP Morgan is a big player in the manipulation of this market, just like they are in a big player in the manipulation of the commodities market. That's never going to go away. The banks will dominate commodities. Anything that is a rival to fiat, the banks will come in like predators, and they will completely take the market over. And I definitely think that's what's happening. And that's what leads me to believe that we have much further to drop in order to annihilate a big portion of the alternative coins out there. So there is a consolidation of power. It will be much easier to manage in the future. And it's definitely the way I think it's going to go no matter what. No matter what. I don't care if Bitcoin's going to go to like 100 trillion, 200 years down the road. I don't care. There's going to be a massive consolidation for power purposes. And that could lead to Bitcoin returning back down to 1,000. It could lead to Bitcoin returning back down all the way to 500. Between 500 to 1,000 is a massive, massive base on Bitcoin. And the overarching picture looks like a mountain formation, which is a base, a giant hump, and a return to the base. And if Bitcoin keeps chopping this way, then eventually it's going to return to that base, and that is where it'll find its support and its normalization for another slower move higher that I believe will be completely controlled by our banking cartel friends. So anyways, that is it. Like I said, I think there's going to be a retest. There's a lot of weakness in the market. So short term, I'm bearish. Longer term, I'm bearish. Nothing's going to change that unless there's some crazy, crazy spike and a new higher high made on this chart, which I highly doubt that's going to happen. But anyways, so that's it. If you like the video, you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, follow. I do have my subscription service too over at geometriccharts.com. We definitely shorted this. It's like up 4.25%, roughly a little less than that because we do have a little pump going on right now, but I imagine it'll be up significantly higher than that. Basically what that entails is just a Slack channel. If you're unfamiliar with Slack, this is what Slack looks like. I do post morning and night videos for not only crypto, but the stock market as well too. These are the charts that I outline. I do the same thing with the stock market charts too. Most of the time I just put the stock market charts with the stock market channel. There's multiple channels, as you can see on the left hand side here. But the charts look something like this. I do mark them up a lot more. There's more lines. I go in depth, like what these numbers represent, where the entries are, exits, if we are in a trade. I clearly outline that in my sub channels as well too. And then I post the morning and night videos like so. You just click on the video and then that you can open it up like this, the same way you watch the YouTube channel videos. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what the subscription service is. It definitely entails a lot more detail than what I put out here. So that is it. I hope everybody has a great night, great day, great week. And I will produce another video on Wednesday and then another video on Friday. For anyone new, my videos are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So have a great day or a great night depending on where you are.